There's some very unique holiday accommodation in Jersey, and this is one of those unique locations. Now, I've seen prices vary, and I believe it's a minimum of 3 nights stay in peak season. So if this kind of experience floats your boat, then you'll need to go and do your homework. Right, so I'm on my own today. Liz is back at the hotel. It's piddling it down, and we're off to, I'm off to Elizabeth Castle in Jersey. Tide's out, so we can actually walk out to the castle today. There is an amphibious bus, but no, I'm going to do this once, so let's just do it. Let's get wet. Let's knacker my trainers, they can go in the wash, but yeah, we're walking this, so I'll see you out there. And this is St Albans Bay, a wet St Albans Bay. But now we're on the, what do I call this little towpath. So we're off the sand. Here we go. So from the drone footage, you'll see this towpath that leads all the way out there. You know, it was nice for the last couple of days. Yeah, easy to get the drone up. I'm sure we'll come back next year and we'll do this again in the sunshine. Maybe go out on the amphibious bus when the tide's in. But this is an experience. Definitely an experience. And here's that amphibious bus I was talking about earlier. If this rain doesn't stop and let up, then we're going to get the bus back, definitely.
Elizabeth Castle's history spans over 1,500 years, beginning as a hermitage for a saint before evolving into a formidable fortress and a World War II stronghold. Situated on a tidal islet in St Albans Bay, the castle's story is deeply intertwined with the defence of Jersey and major conflicts like the English Civil War and the German occupation.
And we're almost there. We are almost there. So we are just coming off the end of this pathway. I guess into this small island. Now we've seen it from the air. This is it from the ground up. Right, so we've got the umbrella up. We'll have a little talk. We're going to go and explore this place, which I don't know if you heard, was occupied by the Germans during the Second World War. There's a couple of German bunkers on site. There's a castle up to the right, the breakwater out to the left. So yeah, we're going to go and have a wander around. There's a castle up ahead. I've been getting 360 footage of that just there. Alright, so this looks like one of those German bunkers to the right here. I mean, during the Second World War, this place was never touched. The British basically surrendered this. They basically said it wasn't worth defending, and they should basically give it up to the Germans during the occupation. Right, let's have a wander.
On the 30th of June 1940, the German army invaded the Channel Islands. Despite the islands not being of huge strategic significance, they were fortified with bunkers, gun positions, and underground tunnel networks to protect against an Allied assault. The Germans used a huge number of foreign forced and slave laborers to construct extensive fortifications, including bunkers, tunnels, and gun batteries across Jersey. This German gun position offers an excellent view out over the sea, so would have let them keep an eye out for any possible invaders. The bunker has various supporting rooms for the troops and munitions. Elizabeth Castle was built in the late 16th century because the existing fort, Mont Orgueil, was vulnerable to new, powerful cannon and gunpowder weapons. A new, strategically located site on a tidal islet in St. Aubin's Bay was chosen to defend St. Helier and the port of Jersey from naval attacks. The castle was named after Queen Elizabeth I, under whose reign construction began. St. Helier was a 6th century hermit Belgium who became Jersey's patron saint and the namesake for its capital city, St. Helier. After moving to Jersey and living on a tidal rock, he was martyred by pirates in 555 AD. St. Helier is the patron saint of Jersey and the capital city named after him. He is also credited with bringing Christianity to the island. A priory dedicated to St. Helier was established on the islet around 1155. The lower ward of Elizabeth Castle was built around the remains of the medieval priory of St. Helier in the 17th century. The remains of the priory church of St. Helier, which was originally built on the site, lie beneath the lower ward's buildings. A granite cross on the parade ground now marks the location where the priory once stood. The priory was largely destroyed during the English Civil War, and the current lower ward consists of barracks and other buildings constructed on its footprint in the 18th century. In the center of the lower ward is a large parade ground where soldiers would have carried out their drills. The parade ground is surrounded by barracks for soldiers and officers' quarters, most of which were built in the 18th century. The Governor's Magazine, built in 1682, is the only structure in the lower ward that survived from before 1700. Construction of the upper ward began in 1594, the earliest part of the castle, under the direction of military engineer Paul Ivy. The castle received its name from Sir Walter Raleigh, who was governor of Jersey at the time. He named it in honor of Queen Elizabeth I. The castle became a royalist stronghold during the English Civil War. It provided refuge to the future King Charles II in both 1646 and 1649. After a 7-week siege by parliamentarian forces in 1651, the royalist garrison was forced to surrender.
And this is the place for pigeons to hide out. Another gunnery point up here.
In 1781, the Battle of Jersey. During the war with France, the castle's garrison was marooned by the incoming tide, allowing French forces to land and briefly capture St. Helier. The French were ultimately defeated, but the incident highlighted the castle's vulnerability. In the 18th century, a new fort was built by the British, a new, stronger fortification, Fort Regent, overlooking St. Helier. Fort Regent eventually replaced Elizabeth Castle as the main British garrison. In 1923, the British government sold the castle to the States of Jersey. It was then opened to the public as a museum. From 1940 to 1945, we saw the German occupation. During World War II, German forces refortified the castle as a strong point as part of the Atlantic Wall defenses. They added concrete bunkers, gun platforms, and observation posts, many of which are still visible today. Following the liberation of Jersey, the castle was repaired and reopened to the public. Today, it is administered by Jersey Heritage and serves as a major tourist attraction, featuring historical displays and demonstrations.
This is the keep and the upper ward, and you can see this is an observation tower that's likely been built by the Germans in the Second World War. So we are literally at the top of the castle here. This was originally known as the Mount, and this is obviously the most defendable position in the castle, and it's been redeveloped by the Germans in the Second World War. Just look at this. We've battled the elements, the wind and the rain. We fought our way up to the summit, and now we're on our way back down. The sun starts to shine. So rumour has it there's going to be some kind of reenactment, the firing of a cannon. So let's go and find this guy.
On rollers horizontally. Look at the height of the doors. They were replaced at the time the bridge retracted. It's offered in the early Victorian era. And this building is turned into the Georgian building. It was original 1638. The cafe is the oldest building in the lower ward, surviving the big explosion you see there on that Georgian era. Right in the puddle. This should be a scene mode. Cover your ears, I will fire immediately! Cover your ears! Give fire! Fight you, ladies!
So back in the 1600s, I believe there was a windmill on this green. Now just to the left there, you can see the hospital. And we're off to Charles Fort to get some shots whilst the sun is shining. So this is Charles Fort, and just to the right you can see the slipway which leads to that ocean pathway. So we're going to head back down, we'll have a wander over towards the guard's house and the entrance, and then we'll head back down the slipway. And we're going to walk back along that ocean pathway as the sun is shining. We're going to try and do a time-lapse video on the way back, and I'm just glad the sun is shining and it's dry. See, that's much more pleasant. And just look out for this guy coming up. I'm still fascinated by people's reactions to the Insta360 camera. But there we go. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. You found it insightful, slightly educational. And if you haven't seen it and you like our content, check out this linked video to Gory Bay and Mont Orgueil Castle, which is equally, if not more so, spectacular than this one. And as usual, thanks very much for watching. Please hit that like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.